So classic street album, you know what I'm saying? Runaway Slave, Showbiz and AG. Let me see.
Yeah, oh yes, the whole entire DIC, the DITC was actually forming during this album. And, so you get Fat Joe, you get Big L. Big L's first appearance was on this album.
Rest in peace, Big L. Yo, he's actually on the cover right here, Big L.
Yeah, Big L right there. That's his first appearance, man. Lord Finesse. The way he got on is, if y'all don't know the story, Lord Finesse was in Harlem one day, and then Big L came up to Lord Finesse, and then Big L was begging Lord Finesse, not begging, but he was like, "Yo, I got this freestyle. If it's dope enough, like, would you let me in the business? Like, can I get on?" And then he spit his little freestyle, and then Lord Finesse, of course, he was impressed, because Big L, he was like the biggest nigga on the block, holding it down. He was like he was the hottest one in fucking Harlem. And then, well, he was unknown at the time. Lord Finesse said, "You know what? You're dope as hell." So the rest is history. And then he got on this album first. And then, they produced Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous 3 years later.
Big L's album.
Yeah, Big L's first album.
Yeah. Digging in the Crates, Diamond D, Lord Finesse, Showbiz and AG, Fat Joe. Yeah, Fat Joe came from out of this.
But at this time, Big Pun wasn't writing for him, so his rhymes were really fucking whack.
Yeah, so but that just show you Fat Joe's his come up, you know what I mean? Yeah, because at the time these dudes were like,
He was also on Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop, the Diamond D album. He was on that album too. Yeah. Past that shit.
Cause he's on this, right? He's on that song Hard to Kill.
No, he just does the intro. He does an intro.
He does do something on here.
He does an intro. He doesn't rap.
This is Joe the Fat Gangster.
He said, "I'm gonna blow up in '93." Will Represent. Remember the album?
Okay. No, I'm thinking of Diamond D. But this cover, man, look like he got on. You can tell these dudes are straight from. Where they from? The Bronx? Where they from? Yeah, they from the BX. You got the fresh. Probably Sergio Tacchini or something like that.
I don't know the tracks.
Nikes.
I'm not a clothes person.
You know what I'm saying?
He got that shit covered.
He got the black Reeboks. You know what I'm saying? They just, at the time, I forget the name of this team, but it's a black baseball team. This was a popular hat. During that time. Yeah, it's a popular black baseball team. But Soul Clap on here was raw. Bounce to This had Dres from Black Sheep was on there. I think one of my favorite tracks on here is Runaway Slave.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too. I love that song. Yeah. It's a very dark, gritty song. Got the nice beat on it. Yeah. And he's just going through the whole entire beat. He's just talking about the Bronx basically. The street life, the roughness of it, the struggles coming up, how it's all just, it was all by design, basically, by the government and shit. And he talks about that in depth.
Yeah, and also the beats. This was strictly boom bap. It had jazzy.
Showbiz.
I will compare it to Tribe, but these guys were more. They were more street than Tribe Called Quest. They were more gutter.
They cussed a lot more too
than Tribe Called Quest.
This is when cussing in hip hop started to become more acceptable, so they just started cussing more. So.
Yeah, but this was a dope album. This is definitely classic, man. I was in college when that came out.
If you don't know about this album, please listen to it.
Definitely.
Please listen to it.
Definitely worth listening to.
And for the last one, now let me just talk about this before I reveal it, because I know this is an album that a lot of people be like, "Oh my God, he has it." So I went through a lot trying to find this album. This album, I've been trying to get it since I started collecting records in 2011. Mm-hmm. Every time I looked online, it was like $1,000 here, $500 here. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait it out. So about 3 years later, after I stopped looking for it, in 2017 is when I got it. 3 years after I stopped looking for it, because it was just impossible. The prices weren't there, the availability sucked. All the albums were so far away, the shipping prices were $1,000. I was like, I'm just gonna be waiting for it. So 3 years later, in 2017, I see a price online on Discogs for this album. It was for $50. At the time, I was working a lot. I was getting a lot more money, so I was like, you know what? Let me just drop a quick 50 on this shit. Because I've been trying to look for this shit ever since I was 16. I got it when I was 22 finally. I was like, God damn, I finally got this motherfucker. So, I finally got this album. I was so happy when it first came in the mail. I was begging the seller online. He's like, yo, when's it coming, man? You didn't send me the tracking code. He's like, yo, man, I got you. I bug this dude every day. He was like, you know what? Let me just show it. And it's the Shinin by Smith and Wesson.
Word.
One of the best albums. Listen, the source fucked up on this shit. They gave it 3 out of 5 mics. This is at least a 5 mic album.
Yeah, that was a 5 mic.
This is a 5 mic album.
That's out.
Fuck those motherfuckers.
There's nothing weak on that.
I don't know who was working at. I don't know who wrote the article. Fuck that motherfucker.
There's nothing weak.
I hope you're choking on something right now. Fuck you, man. But yo, this album is just pure dopeness. This is when the beat miners started to find their sound.
Word.
Because on Enter the Stage, everything sounded so too much bass on it. There was just way too much bass.
Enter the Stage is Black Moon's first album.
Yeah, Black Moon's first album. DJ Evil D and Mr. Walt, they didn't know what the fuck they was doing. They was like, turn the bass up. This is for the Jeeps.
Yeah.
So, cause Jeeps back then were very popular. Blasting your music was just the thing.
Right.
So they thought, you know what, if we turn the bass up, that would make the music bump a lot harder. So they did that. At first, I think Stretch and Bobbito or some person or some radio station, they picked up on the album. They was like, yo, what the hell is this? This is mixed badly. Why is the bass so high? But it turned out to be a classic though. But it all worked out. They didn't know what they was doing. It just goes to show you never know what you might have until you put it out in public. Because a lot of people who had the Jeeps, they were bumping it. But then this album comes along, you'll notice that there's not a lot of bass on it. The bass has been turned down.
It was clean.
It was much more cleaner, but it wasn't
clean. It was bad. It was still
dirty. This is still dirty. But it wasn't as dirty as Enter the Stage was. That was just pure grit.
Yeah.
Bass lines were just 10,000 decibels loud.
Yeah.
And, but this album's a lot more refined, and I love the production on this a lot more.
These guys are still together to this day. They just dropped a new album, The All.
Also, this is the original 1995 pressing, insanely expensive to find. I'm just glad I got it for $50. I could have bought it back then, but for like $200. I wasn't dropping $200 on this one. Yeah, and plus, but the thing with this album is the CD version actually has more songs. Because, because on the vinyl version, it doesn't have Recognize, it doesn't have Let's Get It On.
Really?
It doesn't have Let's Get It On. That's probably one of the most
one of
well-known.
the hottest tracks on there.
It's not on here. Not in this version.
Okay.
But it has all the other ones on.
Okay.
But classic album. The cover takes after the Roy Ayers album, He's Coming, which came out in 1972. So this was an ode to that. They were just showing props for Roy Ayers for such a nice album. Because I have that album too, I just didn't have it here with me. But
they sampled Roy too on that We Live in Brooklyn.
We Live in Brooklyn, yeah. So everybody was sampling Roy Ayers.
Right.
He was a popular person to sample.
Yeah.
And this album just comes together all nicely. You got songs like Soundboy Burrell.
Soundboy Burrell. Yeah, man.
Love that song. Even though
Boom Bye Bye in the Batty Boy Head.
Exactly. Love that song. Bucktown, of course. Everybody knows Bucktown.
Oh man.
That's the Brooklyn anthem. Right?
I remember I was in '95. I was going to Morgan, but I would take my homeboys home. I was one of the only guys that had a car back in the day, so I was taking my homeboy to the city. They lived in Brooklyn, and we were listening to the Hot 97 back then, of course. And Premier was playing Bucktown for the first time.
It's probably Thunderstorm.
And
Thunderstorm on WBLS, right?
No, Hot 97.
Oh, I know.
And yo, he just kept bringing back those horns, man. Yo, I was like, yo, what the hell? Well, first of all, I was like, yo, what is this? Yeah. What is that? Because while he's scratching it, you're like, yo, that sounds so ill. But then when he played the verse, I walk around town with the pants down, I was like, ooh, like Steele's verse, man. Those guys, man, that was a hot record.
Yeah, the video for it is nice too.
Video was raw.
Video was dope, man.
These dudes are nice, man. Like I said, they are still together. They're one of those hip hop groups that kind of stood the test of time.
Also, session at the Dog Elite.
Yeah, had they crew. Well, on the cover you see that you got.
You got Tech here.
You got Sean P. You got
Rock right here.
The Rockness Monster.
Right, it's kind of hard to tell, but I know it's
OGC.
Rock. OGC's on here.
Mr. Ring,
Buckshot right here, I think.
Buckshot, Shorty.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. What else was fire on here?
Hallucination, Stand Strong.
Hallucination.
Yeah.
That was a joint.
That had the Minnie Riperton sample.
Yeah. Keep It Moving.
I love that song too. The drums on that.
Yeah.
So dusty drums.
Tim's and Hood Check. The intro, the first track.
Scratching.
Like,
I love the scratching on that shit. I love the scratching.
Smith and Wesson.
Represent. Yeah, I just love that shit.
PNC.
Yeah, Partners in Crime. That's one of my favorite songs too.
Definitely, man.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this album, pure classic. If you don't know about it, please do yourself a favor.
Well, one thing about all these albums that we discussed, all these records were had producers that had the same producer. One, Beat Miners on Smith and Wesson, Showbiz and AG, produced. I'm sure they produced most of their, maybe Lord Finesse.
Marlon Moore produced,
Marlon produced,
Q-Tip and Ali Shahi
Tribe produced their own stuff.
And everybody was just to themselves. Everybody.
So that's why I think hip hop had a different sound at that time, because it was more unified. Everybody's together. It's not about money yet. It's not about
There was something about money though, but
they were talking about money, but they didn't know that. Sense. Yeah, not the material like how it is now.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
They weren't doing this to
The purpose, like nowadays, rappers, these kids, they get into hip hop because their only purpose is to make money. When these guys were doing it, they had no idea that they were going to get no money at all. There was like money wasn't even a fucking.
It was just a passion. It was just something they saw in the street, the party.
You loved to do
and they say, I could do that shit too.
And you could tell by the way it sounds. But so
for the record, even though I'm younger, I'm not really up on the new stuff. So
right.
He's gonna handle more of that stuff.
Which is why this shit is called the Oddkast. You know what I mean? I'm from that era. I love that era. That was my teenage.
And this is the era I wish I was from.
He wasn't even born.
I was born in the middle of. I was born towards the end of it.
But I like new shit too, right? I like new music.
I do too, but just not to the extent.
Lately, I've been playing. There's 3 albums that I wanted to talk about real quick. One of them being by my man Tyler the Creator, Igor, right? I don't have the actual physical. Well, we're talking about music today, so we ain't got nothing physical. We could fucking. But I'm probably gonna put a picture of the album across the screen.
See, you can't hold it, man.
Right.
This is why I like the old school pedal.
But his shit sounds good. I like. I think it has about maybe 12 tracks on it. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it, but I like this album.
Real quick, did you hear about how DJ Khaled didn't like how he debuted at #1 with his album? And DJ Khaled went on Instagram. He was talking about, man, he was like, he wasn't talking directly to Tyler the Creator. He was like a subliminal diss to him. He was like, man,
I heard about it. I heard about it.
He was just being salty.
Yeah, I saw he just being salty, man. A lot of sodium and shit, man. But Tyler the Creator's album Igor. I think this is his fifth album, and he's always interesting, man. He never lets me down, man, because he's so creative. Hence the name, Tyler the Creator. But the interesting thing are the features that he has on this album. He's got Lil Uzi Vert on there. He's got Solange on there. He's got Charlie Wilson.
How do you hook up with goddamn Charlie Wilson?
He uses Charlie on a lot of his shit. His last album he had
Did he hook up with
Charlie, and he got on his last album he had a song with Roy Ayers. We were just talking about Roy Ayers. Tyler the Creator has a song with Roy Ayers.
Didn't he also hook up with Can? That was a German rock group from like the 70s or some shit. It was some weird.
Maybe, yeah. I think on his last album he did that.
Yeah, I'm like,
but
wow. Okay.
How we were talking about how these albums were all produced in house. This is why I fuck with Tyler, because his shit is written, produced, arranged. I don't know if it was mixed, but his shit, all this shit it comes from him. He plays all the instruments.
Yeah, I like an artist
on his album. So that's another reason why I like him. I fuck with Tyler because he stays true to form. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys. He don't bring in producers and writers, but like I said, so when he uses these features like Lil Uzi Vert, you don't know that it's Lil Uzi Vert because the way that he tweaked the pitch of his voice. So you don't even know that it's him. But when you get the feature list, you're like, oh shit. You go online and find the features. Uzi Vert, just like Solange. He's got Solange on the song. I Think I'm in Love or something like that. I think the track is called. And you don't really know that it's her because that's the interesting thing that he does, and he's so creative that he tweaks her voice so you don't know that it's her. He's got CeeLo Green on a track.
CeeLo's on everything.
But you can kind of tell it's CeeLo, but it sounds like a Chipmunk.
You mean that Kanye West era when he first came out, the Chipmunk shit?
Yeah.
Oh, God, that was
it sounds like that. But,
that was a fucked up era, man.
He also has Pharrell on here, you know, the last song, Can We Be Friends? He's got Pharrell on there. Why? Pharrell is like his...
Wait, did they use the Why Can't We Be Friends sample by War?
Nah.
Why can't we?
Nah.
It's an educated guess.
Yeah, nah. He has Pharrell. That's like his mentor. Pharrell kind of mentors Child. They do. They kind of collab. They've been collabing the last couple of albums. But I think that's really a dope album. It's kind of, you know, if you're not really into that kind of style of hip hop, because he's singing, not too much rapping. He's got some rhymes on there, but you know, it's a lot of it's really melodic. It's really soulful, jazzy. It's got that nerd, that Neptune kind of sound too on that song. Those heavy, synth sound. So that one, another album that is fire right now is Jim Jones. The title of the album is called Capo. Once again, I don't have the physical shit in front of me, but like I said, I'm gonna, put a picture of that shit on the screen. But Capo. I'm not a huge fan of Jim Jones. Honestly, I'm going to say I'm not a fan of Jim Jones like that. I liked Wasted Talent was fire. But this here, once again, he collaborated with the Heatmakers. The Heatmakers are the guys responsible for Dipset's early albums. You know what I mean? So that sound. So you got that speeded up choir record, that Chipmunk kind of speeded up MPC sound. This is it. It sound. I'm listening to it. It sounds like something from 03, 04.
I don't know how that even became a thing, man.
I like it. I don't see nothing wrong with it. I think that's dope.
Every time I used to think it was actually Alvin and the Chipmunks singing on that shit.
Nah.
Every time I heard that, because every song back in those days had that Alvin and the Chipmunks shit. I'm like, yo, what is Theodore doing on this bitch singing? Like, god damn. What's Alvin doing on this?
They just messing with the pitch, man. on the drum machine. That's all it is. But yeah, Capo, he's got he's got Cam on there, he's got Ross on there, he's got a song with Fabulous where they sampled Lionel Richie. All night long. You gotta hear it. It sounds really very simple, but I like the way they flip that. I like the way they flip that, man. So that's a fire album. Another fire album is Beast Coast. I think what's the name of that album? It's a collaboration of many groups. You got Flatbush Zombies, you got Kirk Knight in there, you've got who else is in there with these guys? Joey Badass is another one. I forget the other guy who's I'm not really sure, but I like these guys because they represent that the younger era, but they're still trying to bring that 90s sound. Like the guy from Flatbush Zombies, I think his name is Michi Darko. He kind of reminds me of like a hip hop Shabba Ranks kind of. He's got like that. He's got a real gritty kind of Jamaican Caribbean flow with his style.
Like Mad Lion.
Yeah, like Mad Lion, kind of like, but like a 2019 version of Mad Lion. You know what I mean? So yeah, and. Those are the 3 albums that I think are fire right now. But like I said, the Jim Jones and the Tyler, like I said, his Capo was produced all by the Hitmakers, and that's another reason why I like that album, because everything sounds cohesive. Nothing's out of place because it all came from the same guys. Even though there's a wide range of tracks, he has all kind of. He's got hard shit. He got mellowed out shit. You know what I mean? But it's all from the same. In-house, so yeah, dope album. So that's pretty much where we are right now. Yeah. Where is hip hop? Do you think hip hop is dead, or what do you think?
Okay, so this has been
from your perspective. Yeah. Okay, it's a topic that's.
Okay, so to briefly just talk about this has been a topic ever since Nas had that album. It was 2008, 6, whatever it was. Is hip hop? Oh, really? 05? Maybe. Somewhere in that area, somewhere in the mid 2000s. The age-old question is hip-hop really dead? So this could be looked at from a different. This could be looked at something from a different myriad of angles. If, from my perspective, in the mainstream, it's dead, but in the underground, it's kind of dead too. Like they're both kind of on the deader side. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good underground artists, but they just don't really stand out that much because they're all talking about how mainstream rappers are whack and how they always talk about money and getting bitches and shit. I get all that. It's sort of a topic that they always talk about in the underground. It gets a little tiring. Everybody tries to do the jazz sample thing. It's been done to death. Everybody tries to sound like the West Coast 90s. It's been done to death. You got Blueface out here trying to do that whole Bay Area sound. It just, everything is just being duplicated in a worse sense.
I think hip hop does need something.
It does need something fresh.
New. It does need something fresh. Something fresh, but I'm still going to need you to be in those 5 principles of hip hop, though, man. You know what I mean? You got to have beats, rhymes. You know what I mean? All that kind of, you got to have those essentials
in there.
Essentials, bro. You know what I mean? But still something fresh, something new.
It's got to be something pushing the boundary further. Because
I feel that to say hip hop is dead, I think that hip hop where like everybody like grew up together and like family like these albums from the 90s
and 80s.
In the 80s, I think that that part of hip hop is dead. I think that's hip hop is dead in that aspect.
But they're classics though. They're always going to be alive in some sense.
Yeah. Now they're not. Now hip hop is like
you got little kids.
Hip hop is made to $1 billion. And Jay-Z's a billionaire.
But you got little kids looking up albums like this nowadays. You got little kids trying to search up Tribe now. They say, "Mommy, Daddy, what is that? I like."
So so that's what I'm saying. Hip hop is it's dead, but it's alive. You just have to search for it. You gotta look for it. You gotta dig for it. It's not like you said. Mainstream is not keeping up the basic principles of hip hop. Mainstream is watered down. It's all trap. It's all this mumble rap. It's all this other shit other than what hip hop in its purest form really is. You know what I mean? Even though you still have artists from that era still making music, but you just gotta find them. You know what I mean?
But I think my thing is it's just that. I think we were spoiled too much on how good the golden era was, and everything that came after it just didn't capture the attention or it didn't capture the spirit of how it did in the golden era because everything was becoming more cleaner. Samples were starting to get railroaded.
The rules changed.
The rules changed.
A little
Copyright started to become more heavy. Lawyers were on everybody's ass.
That's why that goes back to the money.
I get that.
Once money came into play, that's where hip hop started to die. That's when you lose the values.
Yeah, the principles started to go away, and then the money mattered more than the artistry, and that's when everything started to just decline. And albums like 6 I Showed You, those albums solidified what hip-hop really is, just dope beats, rhymes, and having a good time. And there's some harsher realities on there too, but it wasn't something that was corny or something to like a sellout extent. Everything was genuine. It was still genuine.
Oh, it was all from the
heart. They cared about what they rapped about. They didn't rap
soul.
over the phone and say, put that over a beat. So,
unless they was in jail or something.
Well, yeah. If you're X-rated, only if you're X-rated that works. Every other rapper, no, don't do it, please. Don't phone in your rhymes.
Yeah.
Actually mean what you talk about.
Right. Now you emailing verses. They weren't emailing verses.
Emailing beats.
Everybody sat in the studio and wrote rhymes together, man.
I'll send my shit back to you an hour later, or if I'm doing something, I'll just send it. No, I like when 2 people in a room forming ideas, creating. I don't like this whole. I'll send you a beat, give it back to me once you lay your verse on it.
Because it sounds like that too. Like when you listen, you're like, it sounds like you
sounds phoned in.
It sounds like you, So I hope y'all enjoyed the episode, man. So stay tuned for more from your boy Gary Gnu and
DJ Black Hurricane. You can follow us on Instagram. I'm at DJ Black Hurricane on Instagram.
And I'm at Mr. Gary Gnu on IG. I want to give a special shout out to my camera woman, Deanna Hendricks. Deanna Hendricks on the cam, y'all. Peace.